Ended this morning.
Thank you.
Yes.
So do you as well.
Why, thank you, thank you. We do our best.
Great.
Thanks to HR professionals like yourself. So people are often described as an organization's greatest asset. Why is that true today more than any time else?
It's actually true today because a lot of people are scared about the fact that, technology is here, AI is here, what's going to happen to my job, so that fear is there. And as an institute that regulates HR practice in Ghana, we want to allay the fears, let people understand that they shouldn't really panic. It's true that technology is here. However, they are the ones that will actually make this technology work. So if you've got ChatGPT, if you've got DeepSeek and everything, human resource actually put the information there. And it's human resource that will actually also put it into practice. So at any rate, the talent, the human resource is very important. That's why we want to have this conference to ensure that people do not spread panic or receive panic in any way.
Okay.
You get it?
Because it's like, is it easy to allay people's fears? Because, it's like the advent of AI. It's like, you know what? My job is not safe. My job is not safe. Anyway, tell us about the conference.
Okay. So I'm excited to talk about the conference because as the regulatory body for HR practice in Ghana, what we aim to achieve is to ensure that excellent practice is being put across the entire nation. And we hear the concerns of people. That way, we want to be able to educate our HR practitioners. We also want to be able to educate even individuals who are working in organizations. So the HR conference is not just for HR, practitioners. Any person can come in to learn because, one day you could also become a CEO and you have to understand how HR practice works. And sometimes when you also come for this conference, you get to know the labor laws, how you should, carry yourself within your company and or whatnot. So the excitement around the conference is really high. And I would like to let everybody know that it's happening on the 10th and the 11th of June. That's tomorrow.
All right. Okay.
At Alisa Hotel.
Okay.
And it's starting at 8 a.m. and it's going to close at 4.
All right.
And I just want to reiterate that because we say it's starting at 8 doesn't mean people should show up at 11. 8 o'clock you get to register. 9 o'clock the conference starts and you don't want to miss any part of it.
That's true. Okay. So what are some of the key issues and trends that will be discussed at this conference? Okay,
I'd like to highlight on a few of them. So one that comes every year that people complain about is sexual harassment. And it's something that we keep trying to ensure that, practices or standards are put in place to ensure that nobody's harassed, either a male or a female. And also we have seen that there are new trends. People are beginning to elevate the way they do their kind of sexual harassment. So we're going to speak to that issue. Even now we have got third-party sexual harassment because you could be in a space and people are practicing certain things that you're not comfortable with. Maybe you're in the canteen in the office and two people are not really making you feel comfortable. So you are being harassed as well. So we're going to educate people around it. Another component of HR practice that we're going to be talking about is around the labor laws, because we've noticed that people are workers, but they don't really know their rights. And for some people, they are told not to have, groups or labor union groups within their companies. No, we don't allow those kind of things here. So if they don't have such groups, they need to understand where they stand within the organization. So we're going to look at labor law. And then another one that we notice that people want to speak out about, but find it very difficult to speak about, is why they hate HR. Because if you go around, they're always the enemy.
You do that a lot in your work, huh?
Yeah, so these are the three main places we would like to highlight. But there are other areas we'll talk about. Even technology, AI definitely is part of the conversation.
Because, speaking about some of the things you're talking about, it's what if, for instance, the one where you're not supposed to organize unions and all that, what if the company policy doesn't allow you to? You'll speak about all that at the conference.
Yes, and the CEOs are going to be attending. So we don't want to leave it only to the HR practitioners because sometimes, because they are between the organization and the human resource, they are always unpopular because certain things that the company is advocating for, the HR person is the one to communicate it to the human resource. So at the end of the day, he becomes a bad person. So CEO has to understand that you're putting your HR director or manager in bad light if you do not go according to how things should go within the laws of Ghana. So they will also be coming.
Yeah, okay. So speaking about those coming, the CEOs and whatnot attending, so who are some of these key speakers and panelists who will be at the conference this year?
Okay, so our keynote speaker is actually the Minister for Education, Honorable Haruna Idrisu. And I mentioned that we're going to talk about why we hate HR, and the person who is going to be speaking to it is Uncle Ibu White. And we know that he's somebody who uses storytelling to pass his message across, because we really want it to sink and make everybody understand. So another person who is also going to be attending the program is Mrs. Ejanim Boateng. She's going to be there. And we also have another person who is going to be attending, Ellen Hagen. So she is the CEO of Lane Services and the founder of Legacy Girls. And people know very well that she's an astute HR practitioner, and so many other people who will be coming.
Yeah, I'm not even into HR, but I've seen who she is. Like, she's always around the school she's founded and everything. So
yes.
I know, and I've also worked with Uncle Ibu White. So it's going to be quite interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it will.
With the storytelling formula and everything of such. So for those who are still listening to you and are thinking, why should I attend? Why should I attend this conference? So for the CEOs, the businesses, why should they attend this event? Okay,
so let me be speaking to the CEOs right now. CEOs, you need to attend this event, the CIHR conference 2026, happening at Alisa Hotel. You need to attend because we're going to have policymakers coming around. We're going to have people from academia. We're going to have different business leaders. We are also going to be having people from government coming, and even co-CEOs. Is an opportunity for you to be able to collaborate, to network, get to meet new people, and also understand what's going to help you get your organization to the next level. Because if your human resource is not happy or they're not content, you find yourself getting people who keep exiting. And as they keep exiting, the organization cannot actually be elevated. So that's why you need to be there if you want to ensure that you retain your talent. For the CEOs. So for the individual who is also watching me and wondering, should I attend? It's open to everyone. You want to know how to defend yourself when you're not being treated right. So this is an opportunity for you to be able to attend. And you know what? We're going to be having people who make decisions in the company. Christmas is coming, and maybe you are into hampers. Who makes the decision around hampers for companies is HR. So you need to come there, network with them, and then create the connections and the contacts that you need for the next level.
Yeah. You truly are the marketing and communications manager. Then you have plugged there. So now for those ones decided, they'll be thinking, maybe it's not just HR, I can go there. So it's happening. Is 2 days enough for all this to take place?
Well, it's not enough. So we are hoping that we're going to increase it as the years go by, because, it's a yearly affair. So we are likely to increase it. But I'd like to remind them that 10th and 11th, that means Wednesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Alisa Hotel, that is where it's happening.
Yeah, so I want us to touch on this particular issue. I'm sure it's not that I have you here. It's a time for you to demystify it. Why HR is seen as the enemy. It's like you're torn between the hard rock and a bad place. So it's like, but you always have to play the middleman. Why is HR always seen as the enemy? Like, you don't have the employees' interest at heart. It's something that cuts across, it's a public perception. But you're here now. I'd like for you to help.
Okay, so I just want to give a hint around why, and I think I mentioned it earlier. It's because they find themselves between the organization, the policy of the organization, and the workforce. So they are always seen to be the ones making the unpopular decisions and presenting it to the members of the organization. That's one of the key reasons. And then part of what CIHRM does is to train HR practitioners to be fair and to be people that are trustworthy. Because a lot of times we find that there's some HR practitioners who are not empathetic or enough, or maybe you tell them things and then before you know it, your issue is everywhere. So that's why CIHRM organizes this conference and organizes trainings. So if you are an organization and you are yet to train your HR practitioners after the conference, you need to come to CIHRM to get them trained, because if they are better trained, they will better treat your workforce.
Interesting. And then I'm sorry I have to do this to you. So there's also the bit about when you mentioned third-party harassment. I realize it's something I wasn't even aware of. Are there certain types of harassment that take place that people are not aware that? What are the forms it takes when it comes to the workplace environment with regard to sexual harassment?
Oh, sexual harassment comes in different forms. Even the way you look at one of your colleagues is, if it's not really something that makes a person comfortable, it's a form of sexual harassment. So if you look at a girl or you look at a guy in a certain way that is lewd, it's sexual harassment. If you touch the person in certain places that the person is not comfortable with, it's sexual harassment. So you don't really need to push the person into a closet to be able to assault the person. So the way you...
The look, the words.
The look and the touch. And especially when the person says, stop it, I don't like this. You see, if the person says, stop it, I don't like this, and you still keep doing it, you are harassing the person.
So, Alisa Hotel, 10th June, 11th June, starts at 8 a.m., ends at 4 p.m. How does one register that? Do you have to get to the event first, or there's a website you can do that before you get there?
Okay, so you can get to the event center. However, it's likely going to make you late. So that's why we are putting out this number so that you can call, and then we take you through the registration process. You register ahead of time. So the number is 024 27 55 323. 024-27-55-323. And if you want to put up an exhibition booth or you want to exhibit, we have the booths available. You call the same number if you want to exhibit. So try and, get to register before you come there. Otherwise, the crowd may discourage you.
Yeah. And if you want to finish it and start maybe perhaps by 9, it may delay a bit and all that. So let's try and register early. You have the numbers. How do you call it? Any sponsors supporting you this year?
Yes, I'm glad you came to that point because, they have been really, really amazing. Our headline sponsor is actually MTN, everywhere you go. So I'd like to also acknowledge other sponsors. That's Volta River Authority, Greatco, Omni BSIC, ECG, Ghana Airports, Ghana Gas, NPA, and I'll also want to say a very big thank you to GBC. I think I have to put my hand together for GBC because GBC has been a regular media partner when it comes to CIHRM, and I'm very grateful for the media partnership.
Yeah. We're also thankful to you. Is it free though?
It's not free, but it's not expensive either. So the number, once they call the number 024-2755-323, we will be fine.
Yeah, so that's the number on the screen right there. So please call Eunice and speak to her. Anyway, so we're wrapping up on this conversation. Any final, perhaps, advice, comments you'd like to leave before you go?
Oh, yeah, sure. The final advice is you just can't afford to miss CIHRM 26 conference. You can't miss it, okay? So remember, I mentioned the business opportunities available to you and also the fact that you're going to be able to understand HR practice and what you are supposed to know about yourself as an individual working within an organization. And as a CEO, you also need to come to ensure that you're taking your brand or your company to the next level. So see you all tomorrow at Alisa Hotel, 8 a.m.
Yes. Does this one have a particular theme?
Yes, it does have a theme.
Yes,
so,
just mention it for the
all right, so advancing HR practice in Ghana, leadership, technology, and governance.
Advancing HR leadership in Ghana, and then the other part again.
Leadership, excellence, governance.
That was my guest for today, Eunice Johnny, speaking about the CIHRM 2026 conference starting tomorrow and on Thursday as well at the Alisa Hotel, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So please, aside the hamper guys, you can all go there. She's giving you the number already, 024-2755-323. Call and set yourself up, all right? Register before the event begins. And we thank you for being a partner to us as well.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. So when we return, there's more on GTV Breakfast. Stay with us.
It's the FIFA World Cup. USA, Canada, and Mexico 2026. The euphoria is mounting due to the expanded format, the countries hosting it, and of course, the stars to parade at the biggest world sporting event. The Road to the World Cup show is here to answer all your questions about the qualification format, the rationale behind the expansion in participating countries,